I have opted to not do that because I don't follow instructions very well. There ain't no going back, boys. Good morning. Welcome back to another video with a guy and his projects. Today we are working on the 2004 Jeep Grand Cherokee WJ 4.7 liter, which matters not for the purpose of this video, and we are installing an HK off-road spare tire carrier, which is going to mount above the back window of the WJ. This is not a necessary mod. This is a fun mod. This is one of those things I spend money on once in a great grand while just to do something that I want to do to the vehicle for not a whole lot of purpose, but there is purpose. So what's going on with this Jeep is I bought this Jeep when we moved up to South Dakota. It had a 4-inch lift kit on it, some bigger tires, and death wobble like you'd never believe. And essentially I brought it not back to stock. This is a limited. I put an Overland suspension on it from a T-boned Overland that I found, and I put the bigger tires on it that fit, obviously with some trimming and cutting and whatnot. And the spare tire does not fit in the spare tire carrier in the Jeep. So we open this up. I keep my spare tire right here, which is obnoxious because it doesn't fit down in this hole. Not a problem most of the time. However, winter in South Dakota, there's a lot of people that get stuck, and I pull them out of driveways, I pull them out of the ditches, wherever I find them. I do not have a business doing that. It's just something, if I see somebody on the side of the road that needs help, I try to help. So with the spare tire here, what I end up doing is either one, I just pull all the ropes in the shackles and pulleys and crap in the wheel well, which is just annoying and it looks ugly. Or two, like right now, I actually have it semi cleaned up. I gotta come in here. Mind you, it is always pretty much like negative 500 degrees and 18 feet of snow when I'm doing this. Yeah, that's an exaggeration, but who cares? So I end up having to grab the tire, pull it out, dump it on the ground, which in the garage is zero kind of a deal. But you gotta remember, in real life, there's usually some snow on the ground and it's freaking cold. And then I can open this up and grab all my gear. And then when I'm done, this is all soaking wet because it's been sitting out, and then usually I either grab the gear, throw it back in, and it gets wet and melts on the carpet, or two, I roll it off to the side, and I've already lost one tire because I forgot to go back and grab it, or it sits on the side getting snowed, and then I throw it in here and there's even more snow on it. So like right now I gotta grab it. Oh, these aren't that big of a tire. They're just too big to fit in the hole. Boom. It's just annoying, and it fills up like all the space. The HK off-road bracket assembly is supposed to mount up here and here. I believe we get rid of the rear wiper, and the tire will mount right here. So we're gonna lose all visibility from the back mirror pretty much, I think. That's okay. I'm gonna put a backup camera and whatever else just to help with visibility back here. We'll get to that. I know we're 3 minutes into the video or so already, and I want you to know we are not getting paid to do this. We did not get a free product to do this. This is in no way sponsored. I paid a lot of money for this out of pocket, 100%. I emailed the guy telling him I'd like to do a video on the install and maybe a review. He said sweet. He did not offer any discounts. He just said do what you want in pretty much those words. So I ordered them back in the beginning of November. Okay, so I ordered the kit in the beginning of November, and he told me it'd be a few weeks. However, I did not get this stuff until I think it was like the second week of January, whatever. He communicated with me about it anytime I asked. So I got this stuff. It comes raw, unpainted. I've already painted it. It's been sitting in the shop for another 2 months, so it's been kicked around, shoved. Paint's not perfect anymore. It's okay, it'll match the Jeep that way. We are still waiting on the struts. It comes with upgraded struts and hardware on the inside of the door. Still waiting on that, but I just got the notification yesterday that that shipped. So I'm gonna go ahead and install this stuff, and the other stuff will show up eventually. So essentially we are all in November, December, January, all of February. So about a 4-month wait time for me. That is my experience. So if you are in a hurry to do this, order it now so that, 4, 6, 8 months later, you'll get the parts you can put it on. I'm not trying to badmouth the guy. I'm just trying to say my experience is it's been 4 months of waiting. So we're installing it today. All that said, I got no idea what I'm doing. Follow me at your own risk. We are drilling holes in the Jeep. If you are scared to do that, maybe it's not for you, or maybe it's time to grow some and do it. We're going to go ahead and get started. So he does send a pretty thorough set of instructions, or let me rephrase that, what appears to be thorough set of instructions. I'm going to follow these. I'm not going to show you that I'm following them, but I'm going to try and follow these and try and make this happen really nice. It is called the Kratos, the tire carrier. So, but he's got quite a bit of pictures in here. He uses normal everyday English to tell you what you're doing. So we're going to try and do it to the best we can. So I'll kind of give you some updates as we go and show you where we're at. All right, so step one is to remove your plastic trim cable, or trim cable. I'm looking at something else and talking. Your plastic trim panel in here. From what I understand, I've taken a couple of these off, but it's been a minute. One thing is you got to pull your defroster plugs out here and here. I would do that first before you forget and rip them off. And then you got a Phillips here and a Phillips here, and then a Phillips, and I think these guys are Phillips as well, but there's one here and one there. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Where'd that come from? I don't know where that grease came from, but I'm gonna clean that up, and then I want to take these screws out. Let's go ahead and try and get this here first. Just press in like normal and wiggle off gently. Press in and wiggle off. There you go. You don't want to break those off. You'll have no more defroster. So then there's a bunch of plastic clips, just like every other door panel you've ever seen. We're just going to kind of gently break those down. I recently just bought a bag of 50 of these clips, so I have some. I will link those down below. They're really affordable, actually. And they seem to be okay. I put the black Jeep panel back on with those. Just find a spot to start and then gently just start breaking them off. I say breaking them because they never seem to come off in one piece. There's that one. Okay. Now we're getting places. Okay. Get the one in the middle up here. I've never had to do this before, but it looks like the latch is done. So I might open that glass. Shouldn't have been affecting it, but maybe it was. I don't know. Use your head, boys. There we go. All right, we're gonna pull this glass back down. All right, then we're gonna take this black cover off here. I'm gonna try and not ruin it. Because this is actually in really good shape. I don't think this panel's ever been off on this Jeep, which is probably why it came off so hard. Most of them have definitely been off before. Peel it the best we can without ripping it. Slow and steady. She's ripping. Just do the best you can. Yeah, she's ripping. Yep. She gone now. Alright, before we get too carried away, I'm going to rabbit trail a little bit. So this hatch, when I have it in a closed position, usually only when it's cold out. But when it's cold out, I'll get the alarm on the mirror and the chimer saying the hatch is open. Very annoying. On the black Jeep, the sensor was dead as well, or one of the two, and freaking annoys me. So on the black Jeep, I just unplugged the sensors, and it seems to have fixed the problem. Because the hatch is closed, the sensor just doesn't see that it's closed. So you have two of them. So you have all this stuff on the bottom of your hatch. This is your emergency escape. That's where that little plastic breakaway cover is. On your plastic, that's what this is. So that's that. And then you got a little sensor in here. I already unplugged this one, and I'm just gonna unplug it. I'm probably gonna zip tie it to the cable or something, just so that this isn't going doot when driving. But I unplugged that, and then on the other side, you're gonna have another one. Just follow the wire, and you can just push in on the tab, pull it down, and there you go. I'm gonna zip tie it to the cable probably, and make it so it doesn't sit there and shatter while I'm driving. But so let me get those done, and that should solve the problem with you know, this whole sensor situation. All right, so I got these zip tied in place right here, just on the cable, out of the way so they shouldn't shatter on the metal when driving. We can now close the hatch. Keep in mind, all these clips are going to end up being popped out at some point. Let's see if we can get these out right now, actually. There we go. Stuff like this we're going to want to remove. So now we're going to get rid of the rear wiper. We won't need this because, you know, I'm going to tire there anyway. This one doesn't work anyway. I don't think it's ever been used, and it's like stuck off of the glass. So even if it does go, it doesn't even touch the glass. If there's 2 inches of snow, it'll wipe about ½ inch off. So we're going to take this cover here, a little screwdriver. Try and get in there. If you got 2 hands, it's easier, but you know me, I've always got the camera for you. There we go. We're going to pop that off. And according to the instructions, this is a 13mm, which I can confirm. So we're going to take this nut off of the wiper bolt. A little stiff. And then it looks like there's a little retaining washer in there. That's probably going to make this a little difficult to come off, but we're just going to try and see if it'll work itself off. There it goes. Wiper's off. Next thing, we're going to open the hatch again, and then we're going to grab the instructions, say a 1 inch by 22 inch bar with a groove. I'm guessing that's this one. And we got to slide this in. It says behind the wires. I'm guessing we're going down here and behind this guy, behind the hinges. So we're looking at this picture right here now. Open hatch, install 1 inch by 22 inch bar with 4 holes and groove in center. You must install this bar behind the 2 wires on top of the hatch. First slide in bar behind the wire on the right, then slide in behind the wire on the left. The center bar on hatch measuring from blah blah blah. Trying to see where he's doing it. Yeah, it's behind that rubber grommet, the flexible wires, and the other one. So that is where it goes. So it's going to go in, back, way back here behind this guy and this guy. So I'm going to try and do that. So we're going to slide it in this way. Goes kind of behind the hinge, and then we're going to try and slide it back. I'm guessing this is just your washer fluid, not your... I don't think that's a wire, but for the purpose of not caring, we're going to not care. And I think I did just do this upside down. I think it's going to go like this. So currently, I think it's like this, so the notch is up, groove, whatever we're calling it. I think that's how we're supposed to do it. Well, we're certainly going to find out, though. And he does say to measure, so you get this in the right location. That said, I'm going to make a theory and assume that that is our center point, where that guy, whatever that is, I don't know what that is. I'm thinking that's how it goes. This looks weird because we're kind of on the edge here. I kind of don't like that. And I wish his pictures were clearer so we could see. All right, I'm going to close the hatch. I'm going to kind of dry hang that in place just to see if this does latch right on the seam, because we are right on the seam here, which feels a little strange to me, and I'm not sure that that's accurate. So let me close this. Oh, and that just fell down, but that's fine. So laying this up, this has to be, I've been staring at it for a little while. This has to just end up being right on the edge like it is, which is not right on the edge here, but it is everywhere else. It's just the only place it's gonna fit. So we're gonna see how this works out. I'm gonna start drilling. Good news is Jeeps are cheap. I can find a new hatch if this gets totally destroyed. Unfortunately. Okay, anyway, so the instructions say to use a 1/2-inch drill bit to get these holes opened up. Probably use a drill bit ahead of that, pilot drill bit. So I'm gonna do that. Now that I got those kind of in place, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this out. Comes out pretty easy actually, but so we're gonna pop those holes and see where we go. Better or worse, this is what I do. I get cowboyed and just go with it and don't measure. Last one on. So right on the seam. I feel like that's not enough for it to bite. One thing is for certain, we are definitely gonna find out. And all I did was, once I had the bracket in place, I measured from this spring here to the middle of that hole and spring hinge, and this hinge to the middle of that hole, and that's all I did to line it up. Very important, don't go too far through and blast a hole on the other side. With any luck, we're done with that. Now I want to grab a little sandpaper and kind of clean up these edges because those drill bits were dull as heck. Alright, for the next step it says to go ahead and hang these in the holes you just drilled. Which means we're going to need to take these nuts off here. And this is a temporary hang. Oh. So we're going to see how this goes. You can use a step stool if you need to. Just hang it up there however you want. I don't know, but we're going to do it this way. So I can see the holes. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. They don't all line up. Oh no. It looks like I got this hole too far off centered is what it looks like. So I'm gonna have to open this hole up. And then it looks like as well that I'm going to, it looks like when they welded this up they got the measurement slightly off. So the hook for the wiper retainer looks like it's in the way, so either we're gonna have to notch this metal out. I'll show you. Once I open up this hole just a little bit more, we'll see what it looks like. Currently we look dead center though, but anyway, this looks like it might be in the way. We'll see. Once that drops down it might clear, might be close. I think I'll leave this in place, and if I have to I will notch the tire carrier and get that to fit in nice. This should clear here just fine. Let me open up that hole a little bit more and I'll find out. Okay, so I just opened up this hole a little bit more. That is sitting flush now. We are pretty dang dead center, I think. But we are catching right here. So I think what we're going to do is I'm going to pull this off just to see what it looks like under it. And depending on that, what that looks like, we might leave it off, or we will notch this just a hair and get that to clear. Alright, so I pulled that off. It's really easy, just one screw. And if we leave that off, that leaves two holes that we need to fill. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to go ahead and leave that on, and we're going to notch this instead. Good news is we barely, you can see by the dirt mark, barely need to notch that out. So I think we're just going to go like this and like this, and we're pretty much just going to take that much out, and I think we'll be clear. So I'm gonna go grind that out, cut it out, whatever, and I'll be back to you, which means I'll also have to touch up paint. Not the end of the world. I'll be back. We got the top end slid in like we showed you. I went ahead and put this back, ground some of this out. I ground more than I needed to. I went probably 1/4 inch, probably only needed an 1/8 for my application, but we're done now. It's fine. So now I'm gonna try and line this up, and it sits almost perfectly level with the line here. So this is looking good actually. And from what I understand of the instructions, it wants us to go ahead and mark these holes. So we're gonna go ahead and mark what we can think is center. Boom, 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 and boom. So I believe these holes, it says to drill out to 7/16. Okay, so I was gonna drill those holes out, and then I read the instructions a little bit more. So it wants you to take these two long bars. The instructions say one stamp passenger, one stamp driver. I painted over those if they were there in the first place, but these ends are cut on an angle here. So I think you just want to make sure that the bows end up so that everything just lines up nice and pretty. So noteworthy notation, I had to grind this piece down too to fit under this. But all I'm going to do, and the instructions say to remove this and put this up with your already marked holes. I have opted to not do that because I don't follow instructions very well. And I'm going to kind of place this in like that, make sure my holes line up and everything looks good here. Now I'm going to mark these holes. Dude. And woot. So now those are marked. So I'm going to pull that one down and put this one up. The holes in these are a lot smaller than the holes in these, so there is a little bit of room for error. Unfortunately, I typically make lots of error, so I don't know if there's room for me, but you might be better than I am at this, and you might have enough room there. Alright, so make sure this is still lined up where you want it. So that's good, that's good. And I think I'm actually going to move this hole up here. Move this one a little bit there. This does not come all the way to the edge, but this one does. But I've measured like 6 times. We are dead freaking center. So it's not something I'm going to stress about. I think I'm happy with where it's at. And now those are all marked. Take that back off again. And then they said a 7/16 drill bit for all those holes, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them. We're gonna go ahead and drill our pilot holes right on our mark. Try not to pop away too far. Take the pilot out. We're gonna grab our 7/16. Which I actually have no idea what size this drill bit is because it's not labeled, but it looks the right size. I'm going to go slower speed on this one. Woo! Okay. Now we're going to try and thumb all this random stuff off here. I believe we stick these on. Alright, so it says to put the 2 outside bolts on each side of this. There ain't no going back, boys. So that drill bit wasn't marked, and it might have been just a little bit shy of the right size. Oh, we'll take this side. We'll put that up. We'll do the same thing. The patch is actually a lot thicker metal than I thought it would be. To be honest. So those are in place. They actually line up really good. I just messed up this bolt hole a little bit. We'll have to open that a little bit, and then this one's a little off center, but we'll get her. So with those kind of in place, we're going to open this up. We're going to put the nuts on, or this one's on the outside right here. Okay, we'll do the same thing here. So now the moment of truth, we're going to hang this up there. So we got 2 bolts on each side of this. The 4 is still empty for this. The welded bolts that he put in will go up on top. I'm going to slide that in up there first, I think. Just that's the way I want to do it. And we're going to put this down here. And then we're going to try and manipulate everything just a little bit. Yeah, just like that. And make this fit. That like so. Like so. And then this one. Just like so. So now it says very carefully open the hatch to make sure that doesn't get damaged up there. Oh wow, that's heavier. Oh man, it got a lot heavier. There's no tire on it now, so that should be fine until the hardware all shows up. So we got our bolt holes through here. You gotta get this bar onto those bolts, and according to the instructions, that's going to be a PITA, pain in the ass. You got to put these backing plates in for support on this before you put those nuts on. So we're going to, you don't want to just fit this on the bolt, I don't think, because you got to slide it over and get behind this wire. Oh yeah, I see what they mean. The bolts take up a lot of room that you could otherwise utilize, but I think we're gonna be all right. Oh, there's a little pressure. Oh. Maybe we can utilize a screwdriver to our advantage. A little leverage. Look at that. Okay, there we go, right there, I think. Oh yeah, nothing to it. That was actually easy. Then we can go ahead and thread these nuts on. I don't think we're getting these tight right this minute. I think we're just threading them on. I still think it's weird how much this hangs over the edge. Maybe that's not proper, maybe it is, I don't know. Maybe I got one that was mismeasured. Maybe they're all like that. I can't tell you. So it doesn't give you a torque spec or anything, but it does say use the serrated nuts to tighten. So I'm guessing that means we're supposed to tighten. I'm not gonna ring on them. I'm just gonna get them like that, I guess. Okay, we're gonna call that decent for there. Okay, my wife came out, helped with her smaller hands. We were able to get these brackets installed up in here. So got the first one right above the wiper motor. That's the first bolt, and then we do these three here. This one is still just hanging out all by itself. If you notice, I got it just slightly off-centered because this side is perfectly flush. And over here on this side, we have about 1/8 of an inch gap. I'd rather they were both 1/8 of an inch, but so I'm about 1/16 of an inch off-center is what that comes out to. So not bad, I'll take it. And then, yep, we got this bracket up installed up in there. And that should distribute the weight. So we did torque these down. I just impacted them on. I impacted those ones on, and we're pretty much good. And there is that. Again, just a shimmy of a hair off-centered, but I'm okay with that. So we are still waiting. UPS tracking shows that the new struts and hardware for all this should be here on Monday. So we will continue this video then. For now, I am good to go ahead and put all the center trim back on and mount the tire, and I'll show you what that looks like momentarily. So the trim panels, let's see, I think I got a big old bag of them. Yep, look, there you go. So I bought this big old bag of clips for the Jeep, and I've already used quite a few for door panels. I want to slap those on where all the yellow and green ones used to be, and then pop this back up, screw it back in, and we're going to be there. I'm not going to video that because you guys know how to take it off. We're back. It's been about a week and a half since we installed it, knowing that the hardware was coming. The hardware has shown up, so today we're going to install it. So it looks like he had to build some. I believe he orders these out of Canada, or that's what it sounded like. He obviously builds these brackets. Nothing wrong with that, just that's probably why it takes a minute to get to you. But he sends the two struts. We got two different sets of strut mounts. He sent a couple riv nuts, which I've never used a riv nut, but I've wanted to, which also means I don't have a riv nut tool, but I do now. This was a good excuse. He's got two self tappers, don't know where those are going yet. Some 1/4 20 screws for the riv nuts, and then some bolts that I, again, don't know where those are going yet. I'm assuming here, here, and here, but we'll get there. Again, I still have his instructions laying out. These have been really well written, actually. So this is the riv gun I just bought. I bought the ratchet style instead of the clamp together style. It comes with a whole bunch of random riv nuts in here already. I already pulled one out to try it just to make sure I knew what I was doing. I did not know what I was doing. I will link all this down below. Click on it, buy stuff. I make money. You get cool stuff. So what I'm going to do I have had this tire mounted for the last 2 weeks, by the way. Lots of dirt road driving, lots of freeway driving, and everything's holding up just fine. Took it through the car wash right now, right before I did this, and goes through the car wash fine. Not that I thought it wouldn't, just information for you. I did buy some different lug nuts. They're chrome, so the black ones he sent one, he only sent two, and two, they were black, and this just looks better with the chrome. I prefer black, but with the alloy wheels and everything, chrome's the way to go. So far I think this is going to be great. I'm happy with the tire mount so far, but now we're going to get it to where the hatch will actually stay up, because right now, oh, when it's heavy, once you lift it, it kind of just falls right back down, and my thumb is not strong enough. So I'm going to put that in. I'm probably going to do one side first so I get an idea of what I'm doing, and then I'll show you what I did on the other side. So, okay, so I got the passenger side in, and well, let me show you the old one. So the new struts are way beefier. So this is the new one installed, and for comparison's sake, you probably can't tell. New one's probably twice the well, 1.5 times, 150% the diameter, give or take. So they are way beefier. This is a pretty straightforward install. This one went on pretty easy. You can definitely tell this was not made in a factory, but that's okay. It still looks good. It works. You got a bolt here. You have a screw here in this beveled side, I believe is what I'm understanding from the instructions. This pin, retaining pin to keep the strut on the stud, that and me had some arguments, but it's in there now. You got the same system down here, only it's a little different. Use a self tapper and a bolt, but overall it goes up and it goes down and everything lines up. So we're gonna do this side. I just used an 8-foot level I had to prop this up. Not the best idea, because now my level's probably, well, yeah, anyway, to get this off, so my Jeep, and I'm assuming that thing is stiff enough that I don't need to support the hood or the hatch. I'll let you know what I find in a minute. As of now, we're gonna just try and do it without. My Jeep, it's got these struts with the clamps on it, so you just get a little screwdriver in here and pry that out. You don't have to take it all the way off, just have to get it out like that. And same with this one. Well, that one popped back in, but whatever. Or you can just break it loose like that one if you want. Oh, however you want to do it. However it comes out, the important thing is that you get it out. So that's out. Now I'm going to kind of try and stand under this with my shoulder in case it does fall, but I don't think it is. That one is real stiff. So we're just going to pop this one off. And there it goes. That was not supposed to pop off the bottom, but it did. That worked. And yes, like I said, that one is holding it up by itself, which I figured. Not a big deal. Then we need a 13mm and a ratchet, 13mm socket, whatever you want to do. And we're going to pull this guy off right here. Oh, one-handed, guys. Sorry. What? Let's do this one first. That comes out just like so. And see if I can get you guys on camera. I don't know. Sometimes it's hard, okay? There we go. That ought to work. Yes, sir. Boing. There's that. That washer just went somewhere. Where did the washer go? Don't know. We'll find it later. We don't need it anyway. So now that that's out, we're going to grab the longer bracket with the bevel in it. And if we look at this side, we put the hex head in and this going down the glass. So I'm gonna grab one of those. We're going to slide it in the hole and we're gonna kind of thread. I'm gonna have to put you guys on a little stand. This ain't working out for me. Get it there, and we're gonna pop this up, figure out where this hole needs to be. We're gonna give it a center punch. Let me stand you guys up somewhere. What I want to do is tighten this up. This is also a 13mm bolt. I'm just gonna kind of get it snuggishly right there. That's what I'm calling snuggishly. I line this up with this line because this is skinny here and gets wider. You can't really line it up with that. And I don't know the right answer, but I can say lining it up with this worked on that side. That's what I can say. And then I grabbed a little punch. This isn't really a centering punch, but for the purpose of what I need, it works. We're gonna find as close to dead center as we can. The instructions make it very clear that this is imperative. So on the other side, being that I'm not an attention to detail guy, I must have got lucky, or this is simpler than it sounds. But we're gonna punch this. Nice good hole. I'm gonna loosen this other bolt back up and let the bracket fall out of the way. I'm gonna let that sit right there. I'm gonna grab a drill with a small drill bit. Don't know what size, it's just small. Boom. And we're gonna pull that out. And we're gonna go, the instructions say a 23/64. I have a 21/64, and it worked. So that's what I'm doing, is a 21/64. Open that hole up a bit more. Now I'm gonna thread my riv nut onto the gun. Keep in mind, I've never used a riv nut before until the other side over here. The first time I've ever used one. So we're gonna put this in the hole. Like I said, 21/64 seems to work just fine. Let's see what's the... I don't know how tight to go. I just went until it was tight on the other side, and I started to strip it, so we're gonna go right there. And then pull this out. I'll see if this side worked even better. I didn't pull threads out that time. The other side I pulled threads out, so there might be something to the clamp style. I don't know. All right, so now we're gonna grab our flanged Phillips head, whatever size this one is. I'm gonna screw that in, and I believe the instruction said 30 foot-pounds, which should be about there. I'm gonna grab the 13 mil. We're gonna put this at 30 foot-pounds too. That's 30 foot-pounds up top. Golden. Now we gotta do the bottom one. The bottom one's even easier. So for the bottom bracket, he sends you with this. It's got two different size holes. I put the 1/4 in the big hole. But the problem is the self-tapper he sends is too big to fit in this hole, so I just grabbed a drill bit and opened that up. I'm going to do that. I'll be right back. Alright, so I turned the camera off to go drill a hole in the bracket, and I forgot to turn it back in. This is easy. We just put the hex head up top. We want the bracket to hang lower than the original stud. So the hex head goes where the old stud stuck out, and then there's the stud, and then there's the self-tapper underneath. I just zung the self-tapper in, and everything's tight. Now, on the new struts, he wants it body up like that, but these struts have a little clip in here. Hopefully you can see. Oh, that's what retains the ball, or it on the ball after you're done. We're gonna pull that out of that side, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna pull it out of the bottom. You just push it off and pull it out. Don't lose those, you need them. And then he says do the bottom one first. Don't know if it matters or why, but we'll follow the instructions for once. So we're gonna pop that in. Once that goes in, you might have to use a headlamp to see where that little hole for this pin is. Oh, I'm gonna have to, and I know this flashes on camera, I apologize, but I cannot see it without. In fact, I can't see it with. Which side is it? So it's on that side for this one. So pop that back in. We're gonna see if we can't figure out how to do this here. This was easier on the other side. Ah, there it goes. And then we're gonna wrap it around in place. Clip it on the strut. Hopefully we don't have to replace these anytime soon. This is a pain in the whooshy cushy. Ah, alright, that one's latched into place. And now we gotta do the upper one. If these don't line up, just grab the strut and twist it till it mates up. I'm gonna open this a little bit more. Oh. Ah. Pop that in. Same thing, you're gonna take a little clip. You're gonna find the hole, which again is on the awkward side. Oh, come on, you can do it. Right up there. Okay, so ironically, the bottom one was easier on that side. The top one sucked. This one, the top one's easier, and the bottom one sucked. So on that side, in order to get this one in, I had to close the hatch almost all the way till I could barely get my finger in there before it would line up. This one, we're almost there. Not quite, but very close. We're gonna do what we did on the other side. Oh gosh. Holy cow, that's stiff. Oh. Heavy hose. Oh. We're just trying to let it mate somewhere else on the ball stud so it latches in. There it goes. Holy smacks. That's heavy without a tire installed now. Holy. There we go. Now it's in place. I'm going to close this hatch if I can. Oh. I want to cycle this. I want to open it and close it 1 or 2 more times, then we'll put the tire on. Woo! And she's ready to play now. Oh! Just trying to make sure the gas is cycled all the way through. Oh! Now we'll grab the tire, put that on. We're gonna put that center cap in so that Jeep says Jeep instead of upside down like I had it before. Ooh! We're gonna go this way. Valve stem's up top. I'll put Jeep in nice and flat.
Power off.
That is power off. Let's thread our lug nuts on here. Okay, so now our tire's mounted. Let's see how she goes. Nice and smooth. Definitely heavier than stock, but not unbearably so. Keeping in mind, I just have a slightly large tire on. Yeah, beautiful. So this tire currently is a 245/75/17. If you put a bigger one on, it might be harder to pick it up. But for me, just a little bit of effort. She goes right on up. Gorgeous. Yeah. I want to take care of my tools and I'll be back. All right, so now this allows me to not only have this space again, which I've been missing for quite some time, but I use the wheel well to carry all the recovery gear to help people out in the wintertime. I have that without having to pull out the tire every time I go to help somebody, because when it's like -20, -30 degrees, really just the less movement, the better out there. So that's that. Oh, I still have to struggle to put her down a little bit, which is good. There she is. It looked better with a lift and some bigger tires, but for now, this is what I got. Tires out of my way, everything works. And I don't know if I showed you guys. I've been driving it for about 2 weeks or so like this. When you look in the rear view mirror, you can see quite a bit still with my tire anyway. Yeah, I don't know how this tells, but those 2 air gaps there are those holes in the rim. I can see through there. I can see on the edges. Still pretty good visibility actually, so not bad. So again, this is called the Kratos, whatever it is, from HK Off-Road. Again, HK Off-Road is who I bought this from. They did not sponsor. I asked if they'd like to. They didn't, but they did make one just for me so that he could send it out. So I appreciate that, even without the discount, no worries. Would I recommend this? Yes, but not if you're in a hurry. If you want one 6 months from now, order it now. If you want one tomorrow, you might find somebody else with a different option, because this did take a while, but I did get it. I think the quality is awesome. No complaints on the quality side. Delivery's a little on the slow, but it's here, it's installed, and I like it. So I will try to link it down below, but in all the time I've been waiting for almost a year for him to release these, and he's at it as sold out or unavailable the whole time. But I will link it anyway, or at least his website. Again, I am just a DIY guy. If I can figure this out, you might have a chance as well. Live, have fun, enjoy, play with your cars, get to know them. It's a lot more enjoyable to drive them when you know what's happening and make it yours. So thanks for watching. Keep watching. I got a ton of videos on the WJs and a crap ton on other vehicles as well. So peruse the channel, and I'll see you next time. Adios.